Welcome to NFL Daily, where the greatest streak in sports remains alive. I'm here in the Chris Wessling podcast studio. My name's Gregg Rosenthal. I'm with Cynthia Frelund, and she says that this is her favorite day of work. Her favorite show is probably Game Day View, but right next to it is this show, our pick show.
In my head, it's kind of an extension of the same thing because we do it on Game Day, so it feels like one. We are of one. We do like all those weird little random shows.
Who needs
like all of them together, though.
And in that show, we pick every game. We don't really worry about the spread.
How many years have we done Game Day View?
Like 7, I believe. This show, though.
Damn, okay.
This is only 2 years old, but I'm on a hot streak.
Yeah, you are.
10 straight winning weeks.
Let's go.
With no thanks to Pete Carroll and some of the most insane end-of-game circumstances I have ever seen. I finally watched that game Thursday morning, and the amount of things that had to happen for my Broncos not to cover were crazy. But I still went 2-1 last week, and it kept it going. You sound frustrated.
Well, I just thought that was crazy.
It was crazy. You know what else happened in that game and no one really noticed? They had a running play before the 2-minute warning that ended at 2:01. It looked like it went to 2. And then Pete got the timeout at 2:01 and then actually saved it so that they could get the ball back on the other side. Then it was so many things happened. And you know what? It didn't matter because I went big game hunting last week and my underdogs won straight up. Chargers beating the Eagles and the Texans.
That was the
beating
weirdest game. Can we agree that was one of the weirdest games you've ever watched?
Absolutely. And I was there.
Right.
I got to see it in person, and it was a delightful game to watch.
How did you explain that to your kids?
Oh, Walker he loved it. He went crazy. And I'm going to stay. I'm going to go first this year.
You do it.
Because it's a continuation. To punish the Raiders for what they did to me last week, I'm taking the Eagles minus 11.5.
100%.
I've been, sorry if I'm, and you can jump on this if you want. There's no rule against what we're doing here. This Raiders team, I'm confident in fading them each and every week. I went back to watch this Raiders-Broncos game to see if there was like anything different. And you know what? The Broncos did get a special teams touchdown. The Raiders did move the ball. Like on their first drive, they got a touchdown. And so it wasn't like the most one-sided game. But then again, they doubled them up in total yardage. And this is Kenny Pickett returning to Philadelphia. So there's just not enough points, I don't think, that you could give me. And I really imagine that Kenny Pickett, quarterbacking the Raiders, is going to score for them to cover 11.5 points here.
No, I'm totally with you on that. I also, when you were talking about a special teams touchdown, I also thought it was really funny this week when Liam Cohen was like, they were like, what do you want to give credit to the Jets for? They're like, they can do some stuff on special teams.
Why did they even ask him that question? I mean,
that's so funny.
That is really funny that they had to prompt him to say nice things. Unlike Mike Tomlin, who Bill Belichick would just start every press conference.
They didn't say it like that. They were like, oh, so what are you game planning for? Like, they said it more respectfully than that, but it was just, he's like, they can score touchdowns on special teams.
That's funny. That's an option for you to take as one of your picks. One thing I noticed, too, is that, look, this Eagles defense is awesome. I'm not worried about it.
68% pressure rate.
Jeffrey Lurie, their owner, said this is not like 2023 when we totally collapsed because our defense is Super Bowl caliber. Okay. Our special teams is Super Bowl caliber.
Okay.
I think he has a point, and that's why I don't think they're going to collapse in that way. And they're facing a Raiders offensive line. Just forget about it. This Raiders offense has topped 300 yards once since week 4. And even in that game last week where they were kind of competitive-ish, they gave up 27 first downs. So they're one of the worst teams I've ever seen. I like the Eagles to bounce back. Mm-hmm. The positivity rabbit is back, although it's not back. It's gone.
Someday you're going to have to explain to me what that rabbit was even about.
We need to have like a 3-minute long documentary about that rabbit.
It's an Easter Bunny blow up.
It's amazing. Give me your first pick, Cynthia.
I don't understand. Okay, my first pick. Listen, I'm gonna I want to just keep it simple because whatever. I'm just gonna go with Houston to win by more than 10.
Okay.
I just Arizona. Here's my fun fact. I was talking to some of my friends and be like, well, what is Arizona's defense gonna do against this offense? And they're like, well, Buda Baker's wife had a baby this week, and I was like, great.
A friend in the league, not like
not like one of my personal friends, like
a Kyle Surfer bro buddy or whatever.
Kyle would be like, What? Like
Kyle, your husband who does not know much about football.
Okay, that's also not true. He just doesn't say anything because of what my job is. Okay. So he doesn't want to act like he's like he's just not doesn't want to act like
you might have made my decision for me. I gotta admit, I wrote down 4 games this week.
Yeah.
And I couldn't decide between 3 and 4.
Okay.
And one of my 4, I'm not gonna make it my pick now, was Arizona plus 9.5.
Ooh.
So make the case just football wise. My question was it, and, I do this reasoning a lot.
I'll tell you exactly why. But, okay.
Have the Texans earned the right to be favored by 9.5 points?
At home.
I'm giving you a half point back, by the way.
Right.
You said 10. It's
well, they have to win by 10 for me to win.
Have they earned the right to be favored by 9.5
Yes.
against, and I'm not going to say anyone, but I don't consider the Cardinals anyone. I consider the Cardinals like the 25th best team in the league, not the 32nd. I don't think they're the Raiders.
I don't think they're the Raiders.
So that just seemed like a lot for me with a team that has a lot of defensive questions. Offensive questions.
Number one, the thing, first of all, this Houston defense is poetry. It's wonderful. And they're very, very, especially good at stopping play action passes, which is what Jacoby Brissett has done at a top 10 rate. So they're very good at his trick play. They're good at stopping his trick play. Now, on the other side, what we've seen from C.J. Stroud, by the way, and Marvin Harrison, the asterisk junior, Marvin Harrison Jr., probably not playing, still hasn't practiced. So just keep that in mind for fantasy purposes. I know playoffs are starting, whatever. But then on the other side, when I'm looking at C.J. Stroud, you talk about the O-line being average. Here's something interesting. When you look at the number of plays that they've thrown quick passes, so sub 2.5 seconds, they're doing it at a 50% clip. That's the second highest rate of throwing those quick passes in the league. And Dalton Schultz has just been there. That's the level where what part, I don't want to go anywhere near Budda Baker, although my player friends were they have nothing to play for. None of his incentives hit if he does anything. The dog is out of him in this fight.
Oh.
A baby makes you softer for the week, allegedly. I don't know. I think it's funny, but that's not part of my real analysis. My real analysis is the quick passes are going to be will combat any sort of problem the front's going to give them. But then also, go back and watch some of the recent plays, and I love me some Will Johnson. I don't know if he quite gets it yet. And I think they can exploit that. Nico Collins quietly has the 3rd most yards in the league on downfield passes.
Will Johnson, part of a rough week for the University of Michigan.
Next,
yeah, we'll just leave it there. You convinced me. Those are some very logical reasons. And I also think, when I think about it more, Jacoby Brissett throwing to Michael Wilson and Trey McBride, missing that extra weapon in Marvin Harrison Jr. is really big against maybe the best secondary in the league. All right, I'm crossing off my Arizona.
I'm sorry.
9.5.
I'm sorry.
To be honest, if you saw at the beginning, my record this season is up to 26-16. That's a 62% clip. You're doing well there, and that's after losing for the first 4 weeks. But I think I've been wrong so many times, thinking that the Cardinals were better than they were and that they would cover some big number against a good team, because to me they look more like a 5 or 6 win team, not a 3 win team. And you know what keeps happening lately? They keep getting their doors blown off by good teams like the Rams last week. So I'm glad to cross that off. I feel better about what will be my 3rd pick, but I'm going to give you my 2nd pick.
Okay.
And I'm a little wary about this.
Why are we doing it if we're wary about it?
Because I do believe that I'm falling for the trap.
Okay.
Vegas is trying to make us take the Chargers plus 5.
100% they are. Vegas is like,
I am.
Here you go, little tiny carrot.
I'm going to do it.
Little carrot out in front of you.
I'm going to do it.
Dingle.
Maybe because the last few weeks picking against the Chiefs on game debut straight up and here as well last week has been so satisfying to just see them lose. But it's 5.5. And I know the numbers keep saying that the Chiefs are better than they are. And I believe that. But there's something
in your gut,
heavy, not my gut, in their gut. So there's something heavy about this team that the number that at the end of games, there's the opposite of what they normally had. And all I need to happen here is the Chargers to keep this within 5.5. What are they in their last 5 games? 1-4.
Yeah.
And they've been playing teams I would describe as right around the Chargers level. Not the very best teams in the NFL, but playoff teams week after week. It's been a really hard schedule. And you know what's happened every time? They've either lost or they've won a game once in overtime. They won by 3 points. They've shown nothing to me that they're going to beat a good team, and I say a team with this Chargers defense, I think it's a real deal defense and a quarterback and a coach. I know they've got other problems, and that's why I'm not very confident they'll win.
I love that Jim Harbaugh put last week's win like up there with his wedding. I love him.
It means more to him than maybe the other coach who's won a lot. You know, how could this game mean as much to Andy Reid as all of his children? And that's why I just need them to cover 5.5, and I'm taking it. I know Vegas thinks they're being tricky and asking us to take it.
Tricky.
I'm taking it.
Okay. I mean, the Chiefs have screwed me the most this year.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and looked at like the reasons why, and part of the you can blame the O-line, sure. You can blame penalties, also sure. Usually with a very well-coached team, you don't get that many penalties from that many games. So, all this stuff is true. Then I look at the defense. It is so wildly inconsistent. Usually with a Spags defense, it's like September has some weirdo things, and then it starts to go up and to the right. They get better. That hasn't happened. There was like maybe 12 minutes in the second half of last game where it was like, oh, shoot, they came to play. And then Trey McDuffie gets hurt.
And C.J. Stroud also just made a couple really good plays.
Right. So you're saying C.J. Stroud can dice up Kansas City, but then you're worried about him against the Cardinals?
That's a fair point. He made plays on his own where I thought like they even got pressure to him quickly.
Yeah.
And Herbert, I know he's playing with that injury. I know it's a short week. There are some concerning signs, but what ultimately did it for me is I think the offensive line on both sides of the ball are a problem. And that I know the Chiefs actually played okay up front last week.
Yep.
But I think this Chargers front and overall their defense is better than people think. I think in a lot of ways their team build has been about trying to beat the Chiefs. And I know it didn't happen last year for them. They were close, but especially in the division. It came through in week 1, and they don't have to win for me to keep it going. They just got to keep it within 5.5, so I'm feeling good. I convinced myself into it now that I said it.
Okay.
Your number 2.
My number 2 is a number 2, as in the spread is 2.
Ooh.
That's Washington and the Giants.
I can't believe you're taking this game. I have no clue who you're going to take here.
I'm going to take the Giants.
Okay, that's who I have too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. These two teams, to me, I look at these two teams in December of 2025, and I'm just like, yeah, have fun with that.
Same. That's why I'm doing it. Because a field goal.
Okay.
It's not like you're asking. It's like you put it at 3.5. I'm like, stay the heck away.
Okay, but why the Giants?
Okay, a couple of reasons. Number one, Jackson Dart's fun, so we like fun. I'm looking at all the things that happened. You saw a D-line coach get fired. You saw Abdul Carter get benched. You saw, there's just a lot of weird junk going on. And this is a team where, they have cameras on them for, the in-season Hard Knock stuff. There's some, I don't know. I'm looking at this and I'm saying that front is going to play with their hair on fire because they're already very good and they want to show who should stay, they're playing for their jobs now.
Mm-hmm.
Wan'Dale Robinson has a really good matchup against a secondary in the Commanders that has been
poor,
non-existent, and they exist. They exist,
and they're more injured now than they have been all
great.
Season, and they weren't good to begin with.
And I watched that game last week with Washington, who we thought was going to beat Minnesota, and they just looked rudderless. They just didn't care. And the best thing that you can target the Giants with is an outside run, because I've been harping on them all season long for how bad they are at allowing outside runs. And who's going to do that? You think it's going to be Chris Rodriguez? You think it's going to be... I mean, I understand that...
They don't even play Bill anymore, practically.
They don't play him anymore, even though he was very good at such runs. He was very good on those runs, those outside runs, but they don't play him anymore. So the thing that you're the best at against this team, you aren't doing... You lose Zach Ertz, which is a massive loss. I don't understand. Debo and Terry McLaurin feel like they're not. I don't know. I don't know the right word. Out of
place.
Just feels like a bunch of the pieces don't fit.
I don't think Debo Samuel will be on that team next year. He is a free agent at the end of the year. I'm with you. I think the Giants.
It's a field goal. Come to my side.
No, I'm on that side. I'm on that side. I just didn't want to have that.
Just give me one thing about the Washington where you're like, yep, that's an advantage.
No, I agree. And Jaden Daniels is out this week. Yeah. When we last taped NFL Daily, that wasn't 100% clear yet, I don't believe. So he is out, and that hurts them as well. And rest is probably the reason I like it best. We saw what the Commanders did coming off their bye week. They look good for 1 week. against Denver. They were rested. It's a late season bye, and I know the Giants got dog walked in Foxborough before the bye, but other than that, they've been competitive and they've mostly played hard. They're one of the, I mean, this is damning with faint praise, but one of the better 2-win teams this late in the season I've ever seen, because they've been in like so many of these games.
Love it.
Half of them they've been up by 10 in the fourth quarter. Okay, all right. I like that. Okay, my third pick.
I also just like the 2.
Yeah,
because you can kick a field goal and win.
2's nice. They kept Younghoe Koo. I was a little surprised about that after that stub toe thing. I'm glad his career did not end that day. I'm going to go 49ers minus 12 then. I'm not a take big favorites guy, but ultimately it hurts my soul too much to take the Bills in this exercise. I do think the Bills are going to win, so that was the other one.
I think the Bills are going to win too. My math does not.
I was considering the Bills, but there's no need for me to go against my Patriots in this format. I've been riding for the 49ers for much of this season. I think they have the extra rest here coming off a bye. They are healthier than they've been all year. Obviously, they're not getting Warner and Bosa back, but the rest of the team is healthier. I think it's an elite offense. They're 8th right now in overall offensive efficiency, despite all those injuries. I mean, that's pretty impressive. So to me, the rest of the way, they could...
You know that they're going to get in as a wild card and face Green Bay in the first round, and you know what's going to happen, right? Because it's just like a Kyle Shanahan, like he like stirs this mystery pot of like lies, and he's like, I'm going to play the Packers. I'm going to beat the Packers.
If I'm them, I don't want to play the Packers. Give me the Bucks or something.
I'm telling you, but I think like the way, like I just feel like he's like, whatever, I don't Green Bay, fine by me.
Look, if they were going to Green Bay, that's not a matchup that the Packers would enjoy. But man, if they were going to Philadelphia or Tampa, they can go win that game.
Sure.
So
I actually think they could even sneak a win on Green Bay.
Love it. You're preaching to the choir. So Juwan Jennings, Kittle. I thought Purdy played a good game.
What does Juwan Jennings say? I must find out.
If you follow him, and I've started to a little bit on socials, and then you listen, like he is just a trash talker. He's
great.
He's a S-word stirrer. I don't want to cause any extra. You know, he's just
a pot stir.
Yeah,
he stirs the pot.
He does stir the pot.
I just want to know what he said to make. Anyways, keep going.
I don't even need to keep going, although I will. Whatever the team total is in this game, I would love it for the 49ers. I guess that's just another way of saying you think they'll win. But worst case scenario, if they didn't cover this 12 points and I was wrong, I still think it'll be 35-25. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think they're going over their team total.
Right.
So this sounds crazy, but I think this is a letdown game for the Titans. The Titans just finally got their first real win of the season. I didn't count the Cardinals win because that was the luckiest, most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And then their coach got fired a week later anyways.
Yep.
Also, the Titans defense just allowed the Browns 29 points in cold weather. Not a defense you need to believe in. That was like a real thing that happened. So now they got to play a real offense. Again, team total. Can the Titans keep up in a shootout? I don't think so. I'm going 38-13. It's going to be something like that. So I'm feeling good on 49ers.
I have 30-16. So, and you know my model.
And your model is very conservative.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me feel better. Okay, that's my third pick.
All right.
What's yours?
You know what? I like spite. Minnesota screwed us last week, so I'm screwing them this week. I'm picking Dallas to cover 5.5. I just think that's a really weird line. That one feels it's in Dallas.
Yep.
Dallas is last gasp to their. They're actually only a game and a half behind the Eagles, so they're still fully capable of being in it. I think Dak handles anything you want to blitz him with like this little blitz. I'm fine with that. Like doesn't matter. So Van Ginkel it up, buddy. Let's go. Let's go. Let's try. But I just think that they have a lot of answers to any questions that the Vikings have. And I do, however, think Justin Jefferson gets in the end zone this weekend, which we haven't seen in a while.
Okay.
And the Dogs have the ice bucket chains. Lowe's gave them the ice bucket chains.
What does that mean? Explain that whole thing.
You know the commercial where Justin Jefferson's wearing the ice bucket chain?
I don't, but
you need to watch more TV.
Yes.
So it's on every single game. So whatever. It's a very good commercial. He has he wears 2 ice bucket chains. I had to do something for Lowe's. We have to do it for game day morning. And I was like, at least give me an ice bucket chain because my dogs would like to wear it. And I kind of said it offhand.
Okay.
And you know what? You know what showed up?
Let's go.
Ice bucket chains. And so the dog chains are great. But it doesn't matter. I love Justin.
I was going to say that's the reason to take the Vikings plus 5.5. I like what you're thinking because I saw that line and I thought it was weird, but I also just these are two teams, especially the Vikings, that I just don't know what to think about. But I ultimately would rank J.J. McCarthy around 32nd of the starting quarterbacks that start this week. And he's playing a defense that's really improved. And I know McCarthy played better last week. I need to see more of that.
Yep.
And
I don't know. McCarthy's in Dallas don't really go well, Just the last name.
I also am on the Thanksgiving teams, Lions and Cowboys.
Yep.
Does that extra, they finally got off this Thursday track where they played 3 games.
Yep.
Now they get a little bit extra rest.
Woo,
Could it be a letdown? Could it be a little bit of a letdown game for the Vikings, who finally just got the monkey off their back and got one nice win, and now they're playing a team that actually matters and is trying? I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so to review, I took the Eagles.
Yep.
Minus 11.5. I took the 49ers minus 12, and I took the Chargers plus 5.5. Yep. You have the Vikings plus 5.5.
Nope. I have Dallas.
I mean, you have Dallas, and your other 2 picks are?
Houston minus 9.5.
Yes.
And the Giants minus 2.
Okay, it's going to be a winning week.
Wins.
I need to push it to 11 straight. It's also a winning week here for NFL Daily. We're debuting a new show in the feed.
Is it called Grandpa's on the Field?
No, it's called Power Players. Ooh. It's just going to be like a little series that we put in the feed, hosted by Jordan Rodrigue.
Jordan! I love Jordan.
And she's going to be talking with an executive, Brant Tillis, of the Carolina Panthers, and kind of going inside the game and talking about team building. And it's going to be talking to different decision makers around the league. And it'll be popping up in our feed semi-regularly, and it's coming up on Friday. So
I like
everyone
Jordan
to check that out.
That's great.
I'm
a big Jordan fan.
We all are.
She also has, anyone with a cute dog I'm into.
That is important.
Yes.
And as big of a fan as I am of Jordan, I'm an even bigger fan of the 49ers, Chargers, and Eagles this week. Keep the streak alive. See ya on Friday with Power Play.